General, the amount at issue, the chief mentioned the $250 billion or the $500 billion. How do you deal with that? Because that seems to favor the argument that this is a major question.
Yes, Justice Sotomayor. So of course we acknowledge that this is an economically significant action, but I think that that can't possibly be the sole measure for triggering application of the major questions doctrine. In prior cases, the court has pointed to economic and political significance, but it's also reviewed a litany of additional factors that have demonstrated that based on common sense understandings of how Congress is likely to legislate, the agency is claiming extravagant regulatory authority that it doesn't actually have. And I think if the court were to just look at costs alone, it would take the major questions doctrine outside of that extraordinary case, because national policies these days frequently do involve more substantial costs or trigger political controversy. Here, we think that there are any number of additional factors that demonstrate that this does not fit the major questions paradigm. And the first thing I would point to is that this is not an assertion of regulatory authority at all. This is the administration of a benefits program. And the court in prior cases has recognized that using common sense interpretations of understanding how Congress would legislate, Congress might pause before empowering the executive to engage in extravagant regulation with the corresponding cost to individual liberty interests. But in the context of a benefits program, there's not that same reason to hesitate about what Congress might have intended, because it's perfectly logical for Congress to broadly empower the executive to provide benefits, especially in a crisis situation or an emergency like we've seen with COVID-19.
General,